So I first got taken to play badminton with my brother and my mum and dad when I was 7. I loved it and my brother hated it. Eventually played in the Junior Olympics, which was in Aalborg in 1979, and got 3 bronze medals. And then met boys, got married, and then gave it up for quite a number of years, and so took it back up again, 2017 I think it was, just to see if I could still play or not. I enjoy the competitiveness of it. I enjoy the discipline aspect of it as well, having to get up to train. I believe it keeps my MS at bay, and actually it's good for me. I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't sure what it was, so I went to the doctor and then they did an MRI scan which showed plaques in my brain, and then I went and had a lumbar puncture, and the consultant that I saw just sat me down and said, well, you've got MS and that's it. So I went away and cried for a while, and then decided that I was going to run a 10k race just to kick its backside basically, and that was the start of it really. It was a life-changing experience being diagnosed with MS, but I think my life would not have been as fulfilled and as good as it has been if I had not been diagnosed with a disability. So yes, it's a silver lining. Today I'm actually getting ready to go on a back-to-back tour to Brazil and Peru. It's the first 2 competitions of 2020. It's going to be a tough 2 weeks because all the top players in the world are going to make sure that they get a position to be selected for the Paralympics. I always forget things, so I start packing a few days beforehand and then just add to it as it goes along. Travelling for me is quite difficult, especially when it's long haul. I've got a box now for my medication. Unfortunately, it's only 1 week, so if I'm doing a 2-week competition, then I have to take extra with me and try and remember and work out what I'm meant to be taking. Occasionally I've taken double doses because I can't remember that I've taken it in the first place. But I've got to stay on top of it because if I don't take it, it really affects my sort of balance and coordination. I am worried about it because if I don't get classified, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to carry on playing badminton or not. So it's massive. It's absolutely massive for me. The first games I had in Brazil, I was trying to get used to the heat. Heat and cold, both of them are really detrimental to the physical aspect of MS, and it brings on fatigue and lack of coordination. It's very difficult. It makes it 10 times worse if it's hot. There was a possibility that I was going to get reclassified from SL4 to SL3, and so I was quite apprehensive about it, because if I had got classified, it would have meant that my disability had become much worse. On one hand, I was really pleased, and on the other hand, I was really disappointed. So remaining SL4 gave me at least a chance to get into Paralympics. I got to the semi-finals in the singles, and then from there went over to Peru. And managed to get into the semi-finals of the singles in that one as well, so it was all well worth it. I guess the main thing is I got some good points and I didn't get injured and I didn't become ill, which is always a big worry, and yeah, all good to go for the next tournament after that. I joined the army when I was 29. I was told it wasn't a job for a woman by my mum and dad, but I went ahead and joined, and I qualified as a mental health nurse and then qualified as an adult nurse, so I was dual qualified, and then became a mental health specialist, so went out on operational roles to Bosnia, Kosovo, Northern Ireland, and I was in charge of a field mental health team in Afghanistan in 2008. I actually think that being in the army and having gone through basic training helped me overcome MS, and I think it made me a stronger, more stubborn, more determined and probably more courageous person, that I wasn't going to let anything beat me, and this certainly wasn't going to beat me. And I wasn't going to be that person that sat in a chair and lost my muscle mass and I couldn't do things that I wanted to do, because there'd be no point in living. So yeah, I think the army broke me down, built me up, and definitely made a lot of my character, and I'm much stronger for it. Today I'm getting ready for the last qualification tournament, which is in Spain. It's going to be really, really tough because I'm still SL4. Realistically, I don't think there's much hope of me actually getting selected. 6 singles players get selected and I'm number 8. But people have been getting injured, and you just never know. It's not over till a fat lady sings, so anything can happen. Initially, I was out in Spain. We didn't hear what was going on about COVID until Judy, my partner, said that I basically had to get out of there. I managed to get a taxi, which was 100 kilometres from the hotel to the airport, and then got the last flight from Spain back to Edinburgh before everything locked down.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, there were 322 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Scotland. That is an increase of 56.
Due to the coronavirus at the moment, the Badminton World Federation has cancelled quite a lot of their international para-badminton events. Potentially the best athletes will not be able to be there because perhaps their schedule was that they're going to collect points at the tournaments that have been cancelled, and they haven't been able to do that.
It was very difficult, but I always have to remind myself that sport's not the most important thing in life, and lots of people were suffering, so it's just the way it was, really. So I need to put oven gloves of all things on to protect my hands, because the side of the kitchen counter is so sharp that it really hurts them. So that's the only way I can find to protect them. Which seems a bit bizarre, but it works for me, so yeah. Other countries have been practising for months, but Scotland, I think rightly so, have not opened up their gyms or their leisure centres, so unable to get any coaching, any playing time. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to hit a shuttle when I get back in Cork. Do you know, it's the lightest weight, but it's really hard work. When I was diagnosed in 2004, I had relapsing remitting MS, which is the most common type. Gradually, I felt things were becoming worse, and my coordination and my memory especially was getting really bad. I was diagnosed in 2017 with secondary progressive MS. Basically, you're not going to get better and you're going to gradually go downhill and may well end up in a wheelchair or just be unable to walk. And it's not a very good prognosis, as there's no medication that's available at the moment for it. During the COVID, I had a bit of a sore throat, and of course with everything else going on and you know, people being admitted and so many people dying, a sore throat was nothing. But it kept coming back, and I thought, okay, so I eventually phoned the doctor, and she took it quite seriously. And within 4 days, I'd got a referral to the specialist at the hospital, who immediately took a biopsy, and within 10 minutes, they had said that I had cancer of my tongue and my neck. I don't really know how I reacted. I just went into automatic and took it as a matter of fact, and went back to see Judy and just said, we need to talk, and just told her there and then that I had cancer and that I had to have radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Judy couldn't come and visit me, so she used to bring Max, our German Shepherd, up to the window and wave, and the ladies in my room and the nurses as well would come over to the window and we would wave. But that was really heartbreaking. I have very bad memories about it.
So you're not actually do anything at the moment?
Just some water would be good, because I actually take 240 mils of water.
4 times a day
4 times
through
a
your
day
tube?
to help me stay hydrated, because I'm still not drinking enough, because my throat's not healed enough yet, so just to remain hydrated is really important. The worst thing was getting this tube in my nose, because they couldn't manage it somehow. That was horrific. That's the worst thing I've ever done in my whole life. Army, anything. It was just horrific. I can't explain what it was like.
Now it's in and it's adjusted most of the time.
Oh,
it's brilliant for you, isn't it?
It is brilliant. I couldn't have done without it.
It's taking the pressure off for you to have to eat, because you know you're going to get your nutrition.
I mean, I really had built up the most muscle that I've ever had, and it's pretty much gone.
We've given up arm wrestling, haven't we? Because Unfair
Yeah.
disadvantage now.
Thank you. That's not fair, thanks.
Okay. One more, are you good?
No, that's good.
You
Thanks. Yeah. I've been told this is probably the first time in my life that I can eat anything I want. Eat anything you want, anything you fancy, you just eat it because it'll give you calories and it'll start putting weight on, and then I'll start to be able to put muscle on if I can train a little bit. They're saying that I've got a very good prognosis of actual cure because I got it so early. So, I mean, you know, MS and cancer, well, it makes me smile because I'm thinking, well, things come in threes, but please, I hope not. I hope it's just two this time. So yeah. But it's been a very tough time. It's been the toughest time of my life, I think. That's actually quite emotional, so, but it's okay. Yeah.
It's good to cry about this because it's upsetting. And if you didn't cry about it, there'd be something saying that you weren't engaging with it. But you are engaging with it very much.
It's okay, and I will be back in the badminton court.
You absolutely will, and you will be eating the bacon butter. You absolutely will.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all forward. One of my goals when I had the cancer was to be well enough to eat a bacon sandwich. For some reason, this was something that I just craved. Big day has arrived and I feel that I can eat a bacon sandwich. And it's not just a bacon sandwich, it's about recovery. Eventually, we made the bacon sandwich, myself and Sarah. Some spread, white bread, processed. My coach would have a fit about it, but never mind. I hope it tastes good, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, but we shall see. So here we go. I managed a couple of bites of it, but because my salivary glands have been destroyed, it's really difficult for me to eat sort of solid food, and just the texture wasn't right, but just the smell and the initial taste of it was lovely, and it took me back to places that I'd been, that happy places. It was great, just for that moment, it was fantastic. All good.
Score out of 10?
Score out of 10. Can't really taste it that well, but I know it's a bacon butty, so 8. Fantastic. Jobs are good. Today is the Scotland squad. There's 3 of us here with Kirsty, the head coach for para-badminton. Recently I've been pretty ill, really. The cancer treatment actually wasn't as bad as the side effects. The side effects are horrendous.
What we just do is arm rotation, so we're just looking for maybe 2 or 3
Not having any salivary glands makes it really difficult to breathe and swallow and even talk, really. But being with these guys, we have such a lot of fun, even though we're hanging out our backsides quite a lot of the time and we're getting really pushed. We just sort of motivate each other and encourage each other and really enjoy it. But it's really hard as well, really hard. But that's what it's all about. If it was easy, we wouldn't do it.
Good, we'll do another set.
My mental health was really bad when I couldn't play badminton, and up until the last couple of weeks I've been in a really dark place between feeling really rubbish and just having to go to bed for 3 hours a day and not having any energy and just wondering when it was all going to end, really, when I was going to feel better. So things like this make me feel better for the time that I'm here, and then I'll go back home, and unfortunately I sort of slip back down into the dark hole again, but fingers crossed they'll sort out medication and sort out my swallowing, and things will get better each time. And once we know when there's competitions coming up, then that's a real carrot to practice more and practice more with our colleagues, you know. So yeah, it's still all to play for. It's just trying to get in the zone, because it's really difficult sometimes. In 2021, there was an international in Spain, in Cartagena. This was getting to the last competition before the Paralympic selection was made, and so it was the last chance to get points. I was still really ill from cancer and cancer treatment, but I went and couldn't eat any solid food, so I was living on basically full-fat milk and looking after myself as much as possible. And my main aim was to play singles and see how I get on. As soon as you finished playing, you had to put your mask back on, and then you had to get back on the bus and then come straight back to the hotel. So it wasn't enjoyable at all. It was a totally functional international, really, just to get points. I think it's probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done, going out there and feeling so ill. And then my dog also became really ill back home and had to be put to sleep when I wasn't there, which was absolutely heartbreaking. So not only feeling really ill, but part of my family I wasn't going to see any longer, who I loved very, very much. That was really difficult. I managed my aim of getting points towards the Paralympic selection, which was fantastic. But there are many times that I just wondered, what was the point of it all? Why was I out there doing this? What was driving me to do it? And I think somewhere deep down, I still had the fighting aspect in my character to say that I really had to do this. And if I didn't do it, then I would really regret not doing it. So on one hand, I was really pleased to have done it, but on the other hand, I wished that I hadn't been there. D-Day, if you want to call it that, was the 24th of July, which was when selection was made and you were told whether you'd managed to get to the Paralympics or not. I got a phone call from the GB head of operations to say that unfortunately I had missed a place by 1. 8 people had been selected and I was the 9th. So, 9th in the world, it's not such a bad thing. Was I disappointed? Yes, all that time and effort and money. But I think in the big scheme of things, I was glad I'd done what I'd done and really given it the best I possibly could, and I didn't make it, so that's just the way it is. And there's so much else going on in my life, I'm still trying to get better, and it was disappointing, but also I felt a sense of achievement as well. So future plans are to have a little bit of a rest from badminton for now, because I'm finding it pretty hard fatigue-wise. I've taken up bowls again and I've been selected for the Para-Bowls Scotland team. So I'm focusing on that just now, and it's not nearly as physical as badminton. It's all very exciting, and I'll get all my kit, my Scotland kit, which I'll be very proud to wear. One door shuts, another door opens, and hopefully I won't let anybody down and have fun in the process as well. Well, that'll do. That's it then. That's me peaked. I think it's really difficult being diagnosed with a, if you want to call it disability, I hate that word, but disability. And it makes it even harder when there's no cure for it. Being initially diagnosed is really hard. It's like a slap in the face, and you immediately think, well, where's my life going? What am I going to end up like? All I would say is try and take a positive from the negative. Yes, you've got this diagnosis, but don't let it define who you are. Be resilient, dig deep, do things that you want to do, keep doing things that you want to do, keep doing new things that you want to do. If you fail, you learn from it. When you learn from it, you don't fail.